Hey there, curious minds. Welcome to part one of my bite-sized series where I defend and demystify artificial intelligence. Before we dive into hot-button topics like job security, ethics, or kick-ass creative tools, we need a shared foundation. So today is all about the premise that will guide every episode that follows. You've probably heard the claim, AI is stealing from humans. I see it differently. From the first cave painting to the printing press to Photoshop, every leap in art and technology has been humanity remixing its own ideas and passing them forward. AI is simply the latest remix machine, fueled by our collective ingenuity, not a faceless thief in the night. That doesn't mean we hand it the keys and walk away. Over the next few weeks, we'll explore how AI can expand human potential while safeguarding what matters. Fair pay for artists, reskilling paths for workers, strong privacy laws, and yes, a realistic plan so no one loses a paycheck before they have a new way to earn one. Remember all those sci-fi promises of a future where we work less, live more, and let technology shoulder the boring stuff? Let's hold ourselves and the companies building AI to that standard. So whether you're an excited technophile, a skeptical creative, or just someone who loves a good debate, stick around. Together, we'll sort hype from reality, spot real dangers, and map out how AI can help humanity thrive rather than merely survive. Buckle up, grab a coffee, and I'll see you in episode 2. Welcome back. This is episode 2 in our series about AI, what it is, where it came from, and how it could help humanity if we use it wisely. Let's talk history. Modern AI didn't just drop from the sky one day. It's the result of decades of research in computer science, cognitive theory, and data systems. Early AI focused on logic and language, but it wasn't until we developed neural networks, systems loosely inspired by how the brain works, that things really took off. Suddenly, AI could not only respond to us, but adapt, learn, and even generate. So how does it learn? AI is trained using huge amounts of human-created content. Text, images, code, you name it. It's not copying or storing this content directly. Instead, it's identifying patterns across billions of examples and forming a kind of statistical understanding of how language and ideas are structured. Think of it less like a photocopier and more like a student who's read 1,000 books and is now trying to write their own. So what can we do with that? Imagine teachers using AI to draft personalized learning materials, or small business owners using it to brainstorm ad campaigns. Imagine doctors having it help translate medical information for patients in real time, or artists using it to experiment with new styles and workflows. Now here's the important part. AI isn't ready to do any of those things alone. Every AI-generated result should be double-checked by a human. Always, but that's not a flaw, that's peer review. It's the same process we already use in science, journalism, and education. AI can offer a first draft, but we're still the editors. So the future isn't about handing control to machines. It's about collaboration with AI as a tool, not a replacement. Next time, we'll dig into the big question. Can AI be creative? And if it can, does that change how we define creativity? Welcome back. Today, we were going to talk about AI and creativity, but something happened that we can't ignore. Recently, Disney and Universal filed a lawsuit against Midjourney, calling AI-generated images a bottomless pit of plagiarism. And hey, copyright is complicated, but this raises some serious questions, not just about AI, but about who gets to make art and how much freedom we really have. Let's talk about fan art. If you've ever drawn your favorite character, remixed a scene from your favorite show, or watched an amazing Spider-Verse fan animation online, you've seen the power of fans creating from love, not theft. For decades, fan artists have lived in a gray area, technically infringing, but generally ignored as long as they didn't threaten the brand or profit off it too directly. But now, some of the same companies that quietly tolerated or even celebrated fan creativity are calling AI generation plagiarism because it was trained on public images, some of which may have included their content. That argument, if it sticks, could be used against fan art too. After all, if drawing Elsa by hand from memory is okay, is it suddenly theft if you asked a machine to help you draw her in a new pose? Let's be real. Disney has a long history of pushing copyright law further than anyone. They've lobbied to extend protections well past original terms, like when they fought to keep Mickey Mouse out of the public domain. They've even taken down kindergarten murals and daycare walls for unlicensed characters. So if they win this lawsuit on the idea that influence equals theft, they might use it next to crack down on independent artists, human or otherwise. What we need is clarity. Not a blanket ban on new tools, but a modern approach to copyright that protects creators and allows creative expression to evolve. Next episode, we'll ask the real question. If AI can create art, and if it can't own it, who does? Thanks for sticking with me. The conversation's just getting started. Welcome back. Let's step out of the courtroom and into something a little more abstract. Today, we're asking a deceptively simple question. Can AI create anything original? It's a question that sparks debate, fear, and sometimes anger. But maybe we should first ask, what does original even mean? Mark Twain once said, "There is no such thing as a new idea. It is impossible. We simply take a lot of old ideas and put them into a sort of mental kaleidoscope, new and curious combinations. But they are the same old pieces of colored glass that have been in use through all the ages." Every painting, every novel, every song, you can trace its DNA. A bit of mythology here, a familiar melody there, a chord progression that's been used 1,000 times. We are all remixers, sponges soaking up the world and squeezing it back out through our own filters. AI, in a sense, does the same. It doesn't invent from nothing. It pulls patterns, styles, concepts from vast collections of human knowledge and shuffles them into something new. Ish. The question is that different from what we do? Or just unfamiliar because it's coming from a machine? When a human draws a castle in the clouds, we call it imagination. When AI does it, we call it stealing. But aren't both just drawing from memory, from influence, from a giant mental or digital library of everything we've seen? Of course, there are differences. Emotion, intent, consciousness. But are those the foundations of originality, or are they just the texture of it? This episode doesn't have an answer. It isn't supposed to. It's a mirror, one that reflects both how we view machines and how we view ourselves. Next time, we'll explore the economic side of all this. Who should profit from AI-generated content, and who shouldn't? Welcome back. In 1990, something happened that rocked the world. A machine beat a human at chess. IBM's Deep Blue defeated Garry Kasparov, the reigning world chess champion, one of the greatest minds to ever play the game. It wasn't just a loss, it was a cultural earthquake. Commentators called it the end of human dominance. Think pieces claimed intelligence itself had been dethroned. Sound familiar? Today, we hear similar panic about AI writing essays, drawing pictures, generating music. But here's the thing, we've been here before. And if you look closely at the Deep Blue story, it tells us something crucial. First, Deep Blue wasn't magic. It wasn't conscious or creative. It was fast, brute force calculation, evaluating millions of possible chess positions per second. It didn't think like Kasparov. It didn't understand the game. It just followed patterns. And yet, when Kasparov lost, it shook him. He accused IBM of cheating. He demanded explanations. And the world sided with the drama, not the machine. But here's the part most people forget. A few years later, Kasparov beat Deep Blue's successors. Not alone, but with the help of a computer. He pioneered a new kind of chess, advanced chess, where human intuition combined with machine analysis created something neither could achieve on their own. That's the real lesson here. AI might feel new, but our relationship to it isn't. We fear being replaced. We wrestle with pride. But often the best results come from collaboration, not competition. So maybe today's AI isn't the enemy of creativity or intelligence. It's the next Deep Blue. And just like before, we'll adapt. We'll learn new ways to work with the machine. Next episode, we talk economics. Who profits from AI-generated content? Who gets left out? And what can we do about it? Thanks for sticking with me.
Welcome back. Let's talk about the recent federal court ruling that's sending shockwaves through the creative world. A judge just declared that companies like Meta, Anthropic, and others can legally train their AI models on copyrighted books without getting permission first. On the surface, that sounds intense, even scary. But stay with me, because this might actually be one of the most important wins for shared knowledge in the modern era. Here's the context. This ruling doesn't mean AI companies can republish or resell copyrighted books. What it does mean is that they can use those books to train AI models the same way a human would study them, by reading, analyzing, and learning patterns, structure, style, and vocabulary. Not memorizing, not plagiarizing, learning. And that's something humans have always done. You don't need permission to read a book, be inspired by it, and write your own story. You don't need permission to study hundreds of cookbooks to create your own recipe blog. This ruling just affirms that AI models, like humans, are allowed to learn. Now imagine the possibilities. Language models that understand complex medical texts and help translate them for underserved communities. AI tutors trained on educational materials, helping kids worldwide get access to better, personalized learning. And even tools for writers and artists trained on everything from classic art and literature to modern masterpieces. Not to replace creatives, but to support them. This ruling keeps the door open for that future. If AI training were restricted only to public domain or licensed material, the resulting models would be deeply biased, skewed toward whatever data was cheapest, oldest, or most available. That's not ethical. That's not fair. And that certainly doesn't reflect the world we live in. So yes, we still need safeguards. We still need transparency and fair compensation in certain contexts. But this ruling is a win, not for corporations, but for progress. Next episode, we'll ask, what does a fair future with AI look like? Can we build a system that benefits everyone? I think we can, and I hope you'll be there to explore it with me. Welcome back. Before ChatGPT, Midjourney, and DeepMind, there was Eliza. Back in the 1960s, a computer scientist named Joseph Weizenbaum at MIT built a program called Eliza, one of the very first examples of what we'd now call a chatbot. It was incredibly simple by today's standards. Eliza used basic pattern matching and pre-written scripts to simulate a conversation with a therapist. It had no understanding, no memory, no learning. It just mirrored your words back at you in a format that felt human. And yet, people believed it was alive. Some users developed emotional attachments to Eliza. They felt heard. They opened up. Even knowing it was a machine, they couldn't help but project emotion, empathy, even personality onto the program. Weizenbaum was disturbed. He'd created Eliza as an experiment, a kind of parody of shallow conversation, but the emotional reactions it triggered made him step back and question the ethics of AI itself. He famously wrote, "No computer can be made to confront genuine human problems in human terms." But here's what's interesting. The fear wasn't about what Eliza was doing. It was about what humans were doing in response to it. That same fear lives on today. When people talk to modern AI, whether it's a chatbot, a text generator, or a digital art tool, they often react the same way, with awe, fear, trust, or suspicion. And just like with Eliza, those reactions often say more about us than they do about the machine. We've been afraid of AI for decades, but again and again, those fears have proven to be more emotional than rational. Weizenbaum worried we trust machines too much, a fear echoed today. And he wasn't wrong to raise ethical concerns. He also proved a powerful point. Even the illusion of intelligence is enough to challenge our understanding of what it means to be human. But fears we have repeatedly been wrong about should not be the reason we limit a tool that could help millions of people worldwide. AI feels so big because it reflects us back at ourselves, so next time, we'll explore those emotional reactions even further. Why do we personify AI? Why do we fear it? And why do we keep expecting it to become something it's not?
Welcome back. We've talked a lot about what AI is, what it's not, and why it isn't the end of human creativity. But now, let's talk about the future and how we build one that actually supports creators. Because here's the truth. If your work helps shape the intelligence of an AI, you shouldn't be cut out of the reward. You should be compensated. And we already have a model for how to do it. Residuals. Just like TV writers get paid every time an episode airs or gets streamed, creators, whether they're writers, artists, musicians, or developers, should receive monthly residual checks if their work was used to train an AI model. Simple idea, right? But let's break it down. These checks wouldn't be one size fits all. They'd scale based on a few key factors. How much of your work was used? The more your style, writing, or design shaped the model, the more you should get paid. Who you are. If you're an independent artist or part of a small creative team, your payout should be significantly higher than that of a massive corporation like Disney. Why? Because Disney has deep pockets and diversified revenue streams. You don't. Value of contribution. It's not just volume, it's impact. If your work is foundational to a particular style or format the AI now replicates, that deserves recognition and income. This isn't about punishing big studios. It's about acknowledging that individuals and small teams have more at stake. Losing a sale or a commission to AI might be a rounding error to a corporation, but it could mean rent or groceries to an independent artist. With proper infrastructure, companies could generate monthly reports detailing whose work was used in training and distribute residual payments accordingly. Transparent, scalable, fair. Next episode, we'll dive deeper. What tools would artists need to track, license, and control their contributions in an AI ecosystem? And what tech could make this system actually work? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something that gets brought up a lot in AI conversations: hallucinations. And no, not the psychedelic kind. In AI terms, a hallucination happens when a model like ChatGPT confidently generates something that's completely false. A made-up fact, a fake quote, a citation that doesn't exist. It sounds convincing, but it's wrong. So why does that happen? AI models aren't connected to reality. They don't know facts. They don't check databases live. What they do is analyze patterns in language, predicting the next most likely word based on billions of examples from books, websites, articles, and more. That makes them incredibly good at sounding fluent, but sometimes they're just guessing. For example, ask an AI about a niche topic, and if it hasn't seen that info in its training data, it may try to fill in the gaps. That's when hallucinations happen. They're not lies with intent. They're just confident guesses based on incomplete knowledge. But here's the key takeaway. AI hallucinations aren't a reason to panic. They're a reason to be responsible. And let's be honest, this is not that different from how we already interact with information. You wouldn't base your entire worldview on the first blog post you read. You wouldn't blindly trust a single news article without checking the source. You are smart. You know critical thinking is always required. AI just makes that need more obvious. We should treat AI like we treat any tool. Useful, but imperfect. Just like humans. Humans misremember. We misquote. We think we remember something from school or a podcast, and we turn out to be totally wrong. AI is doing the same thing. It just does it faster. So don't let hallucinations make you think AI is broken. They're reminders that no source, machine or human, should be trusted blindly. Always verify. Always fact check. Always question. Next time, we'll flip that lens. If AI is this good at sounding right, how do we prevent it from spreading misinformation at scale? And what tools or systems need to exist to catch hallucinations before they go viral? Hey everyone, today's a special episode because we need to talk about something big. $90 billion. That's how much has just been approved for Pennsylvania, specifically for investments in artificial intelligence and energy innovation. And whether you live in PA or not, this matters. So what's going on? The federal government is allocating a massive funding package that positions Pennsylvania as a central hub for two of the most important technologies of the century: AI and clean energy. It's a move that blends innovation with infrastructure, and it could change the state's economic future. Let's break down what this means. Firstly, it means job creation. This isn't just about tech giants. This kind of investment means jobs, engineers, researchers, electricians, construction crews, project managers. Think data centers. Think energy storage. Think training facilities. We're talking thousands of jobs across sectors. Expect to see new AI labs popping up at universities, expanded trade programs, and tech certification pipelines. If you're in school right now or considering a career pivot, this funding could make PA one of the best places to learn and work in AI-related fields. Then there's the clean energy infrastructure. This isn't just about code. It's about sustainable power. Pennsylvania has long been an energy-producing state, but this marks a shift toward renewables, smart grids, and green AI infrastructure, a future that balances technology and the environment. Lastly, AI regulation from the ground up. With all this money flowing in, Pennsylvania has a chance to lead not just in development, but in ethical deployment. Local governments, schools, and communities can now play a role in shaping what responsible AI use looks like. So the bottom line? This isn't just funding, it's a blueprint. A bet that Pennsylvania can be a leader in building a smarter, cleaner, more inclusive future. And if it's done right, that $90 billion could create lasting opportunity for everyone, from rural counties to major cities. Let's pay attention, let's get involved, and let's help make sure this money doesn't just go to the biggest players, but to the people who will feel its impact most. You might have seen the headlines. YouTube is starting to roll out AI-powered age verification. And depending on who you ask, it either sounds like a smart safety move or yet another step into a surveillance future. But let's break it down, because YouTube isn't just doing this for one reason. It kills two birds with one stone. Bird one, the government. Governments around the world, especially in the US and Europe, are starting to crack down on kids using social media. And honestly, YouTube is in the crosshairs. Lawmakers want stricter rules, higher age limits, and tighter protections for minors. So YouTube's move makes sense. They're using AI to help verify age without demanding a full ID upload. It's a way to say, hey, we're protecting kids, without making everyone fill out forms or scan their license. Now here's Bird 2, and it's a big one for creators. Bird 2, the advertisers. Advertisers don't want to run ads on content where kids under 13 are watching. Why? Because it's illegal to target children with ads, especially in countries like the US under COPPA laws. When kids flood the main YouTube platform instead of using YouTube Kids, it becomes a legal and ethical nightmare for advertisers. It makes them nervous, and when advertisers are nervous, they pull back money. So here's the strategy. YouTube uses AI to filter out younger users and push them to YouTube Kids. That way, the main YouTube site becomes safer for advertisers and more profitable for creators. Fewer kids on your videos equals fewer monetization problems equals more ad revenue. YouTube doesn't want to punish creators. They want a platform that's clean, compliant, and cash flowing. And keeping kids off the main site is part of that. The big picture? This isn't just about safety or AI. It's about keeping YouTube legally protected and financially viable. Yes, the tech can make mistakes. Yes, people are concerned about data. But the real goal is clear. Regulators get what they want. Advertisers get what they need. Creators get to keep earning. And kids, they still have YouTube Kids. It's not perfect, but it is strategic. And it's one of the rare moments where a YouTube change actually benefits everyone maybe. You've probably seen videos this week with titles like, YouTube wants your ID, or YouTube is building a surveillance state. But here's what they don't tell you. Most of the creators posting those videos already gave YouTube their ID. That's not a guess. It's a fact. If you're a YouTube partner, if you get paid through AdSense, you were required to submit a government-issued ID. You've already handed over more personal info than any viewer ever will just to earn money on this platform. So why are these same creators now claiming that AI age verification is some new dystopian overreach? It's not about privacy. It's about views. Fear equals clicks. Clicks equals comments. Comments equals engagement. Engagement equals money. These creators know that most people don't know how the back end of YouTube works. They know people are nervous about AI, so they spin a narrative. YouTube wants your face, your data, your ID. and they conveniently leave out the part where they already gave all of that up years ago. This kind of selective honesty isn't just misleading, it's manipulative. It feeds a culture of fear and confusion instead of real understanding. Let's be real. AI-based age verification isn't about spying on you. It's about making sure platforms follow the law and don't serve ads to children, because that's illegal in most countries. And here's the kicker. YouTube isn't even asking most users for a physical ID. They're using facial estimation, which doesn't store personal data. It just makes a prediction. And even when an ID is required, it's often anonymized and deleted after verification. But you wouldn't know that from the panic videos, would you? What we need now is transparency, not fear bait. Let's stop pretending this is something new or dangerous and start being honest about how content creation already works. Creators have a responsibility to educate, not manipulate. And if we really care about privacy, that conversation has to start with the full truth, not just the parts that farm outrage. Hey everyone, we've spent this series talking about the benefits of AI, what it is, what it's not, and how it could help humanity if used correctly. But that last part is key: if used correctly. So today, we're talking about a dangerous overreach, one that's reportedly being explored in Australia. Some AI companies are proposing the use of cell phone data, yes, including text messages and call logs, to train AI models. Let me be crystal clear. That is not okay. This isn't about public articles or published books. This is about your private life, your conversations, your location, your metadata, and it's a red line that shouldn't be crossed. Let's break down why this is such a problem. Consent is non-existent. The average user has no idea this kind of data might be scraped or used. There's no opt-in. There's no warning. That's not just unethical, it's dangerous. This isn't just data. Your texts reveal everything from mental health struggles to personal beliefs to confidential financial info. Feeding that into an AI model, especially without consent, is a violation of privacy at its core. Once the data is in, it can't be taken out. If personal messages are used to train an AI, that information is baked into the model forever. There's no undo button. That's irreversible harm. Now to be clear, this series still stands behind everything we've said about the potential of AI. But AI must be implemented transparently, ethically, and with respect for personal boundaries. That's the only path forward. Training on private communications without consent crosses both moral and legal lines, and we won't defend that. AI should serve people, not exploit them. And if we want a future where AI truly benefits humanity, we must be willing to call out bad actors and overreach like this, no matter how pro-AI we are. Because defending AI isn't just about promoting the tech, it's about making sure it's done right. Hey everyone, let's talk about something happening right now on YouTube. And no, it's not the end of the internet. Starting this month, YouTube is rolling out AI-powered age verification to help identify when someone under 18 is using the main YouTube app instead of YouTube Kids. And some creators, like Deep Humor, are already sounding the alarm, asking, if YouTube has to verify your age, then what's the point of YouTube Kids? Let's break that down, because honestly, that question kind of answers itself. YouTube Kids exists for a reason. It's a safer, curated space with age-appropriate content. But right now, a lot of kids aren't using it. They're just lying about their age and jumping straight into the main app. That defeats the whole purpose of having a kids platform in the first place. So what's YouTube supposed to do? Just hope they're telling the truth? No, of course they need to verify ages. That's basic digital safety. And AI allows this to happen without forcing every user to upload government ID or go through invasive steps. AI age verification doesn't mean surveillance. It means smarter guardrails. In fact, it helps everyone. It keeps mature content away from kids. It helps creators make content without worrying about accidental exposure. And it protects YouTube from regulatory crackdowns. That would be way worse. We still need oversight, transparency, and clear limits on how this AI is used. But asking why YouTube Kids exists when AI age verification rolls out misses the point. This isn't about taking something away. It's about finally enforcing the boundaries we already claimed were in place. And if we want a safer internet for everyone, this is the kind of tech that gets us there. Hey everyone, let's talk about something that's been bugging me, blindly hating AI. Lately, if you scroll through comments or watch certain videos, you'll see people bashing anyone who touches AI, no matter how they're using it. And here's the thing, that kind of blanket hate, it's not helping anyone, because the people you actually need to worry about aren't the small indie studios. They aren't the independent creators making funny videos out of their mom's basement. Those people, they're not hurting anyone. In fact, they're exactly the ones who should have access to AI creative tools. They're the underdogs, honest creators looking to get a start in industries that are usually locked behind big money, connections, and expensive resources. AI can give them a chance to actually compete. The real problem? Mega corporations, Disney, DreamWorks, big-name studios with billion-dollar budgets. These are the ones who are already using AI to replace artists, writers, and animators they could absolutely afford to hire. They're the ones cutting jobs, not because they can't afford people, but because they don't want to. And this is where the conversation needs to be focused. Not, how dare that small channel make a video with AI voices? But, why are billion-dollar studios laying off talent when they could be paying them? That's why we need legislation. One possible idea: require companies above a certain size to keep a minimum number of real employees on every project. Guaranteed hours, guaranteed salaries. So if they want to use AI for efficiency, fine, but not at the expense of completely getting human jobs. AI itself isn't the villain here. The misuse of AI by giant corporations is. So next time you feel that urge to rage against AI, maybe pause and think. Are you punching down at a small creator just trying to build something? Or are you holding accountable the massive corporations that actually have the power to exploit people? Because only one of those fights actually protects human creativity.